The following is scheduled for a 1-hour time limit and is anything goes. Introducing, coming from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the Trib Live Radio Studios, WrestleZone.com reporter and columnist Justin LaBar. And his opponent, you. Call, tweet, email, because you can go one-on-one with Justin LaBar in Wrestling Reality right now on Trib Live Radio.
Welcome to what is sure to be an iconic episode of Wrestling Reality on Trib Live Radio as we quickly approach April 21st. At least that's what The Undertaker's waiting for. Trib Live Radio here, Wrestling Reality, with your host, Justin LaBar. Every single Tuesday, you can go one-on-one with me for the next 2 hours, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be joined later on of the Score Television Network's Arda Ocal. You'll also be one of the co-hosts on the Big WrestleMania special taping with myself, Josh, and the guys from Pro Wrestling Report. We're going to talk to him. We're going to have a heavy debate based upon something that I wrote on my first day of my first contract with Bleacher Report. It involves Sting, and that one I have a feeling is going to bring out the best in everybody. We'll get to all that, but let's start with Monday Night Raw. Last night was in Cleveland, so fitting that we start with Jerry the King Lawler in the ring. He loves Cleveland. He loves the Cleveland Indians. He lived in Cleveland as a boy. He starts off Raw by introducing the Doctor of Thugonomics. John Cena comes out to the old music and something that our guest, Arda Ocal, was tweeting about all day yesterday. He said it needs to happen. He has to come out to the old Thugonomics music, and this indeed did happen. Cena, with the attitude and look he used to carry, he did not disappoint, in my opinion, with the rap on The Rock. Sure, it's a slower pace. Some people thought it was corny, but I think overall it was good. You have to go a slower pace. You have to let the audience digest what he's saying, get the reaction from them. I thought he did a good job. It was short enough. It was long enough. Even people that aren't cheering Cena in the feud with The Rock still got behind it and appreciated it. Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler saw the whitest guy against the orangest guy. Solid match between the two. I don't ever really recall seeing a match between these guys since they've been at the level they are with their characters, so it was enjoyable. Sheamus appropriately gets the win as the number one contender for a world title leading into WrestleMania. He should never lose. I've said this before, under hardly any circumstances. Ziggler took and sold a terrific bump for Sheamus' Brogue Kick finisher. The number one entertainer for me in Santino Marella up against David Otunga and Mark Henry. David Otunga looking like the Black Chris Masters with his oiled up physique and poses. 2-on-1 situation. Santino doesn't last long. This then brings out Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, which would let one assume that there are three of your members right there, Kofi, R-Truth, and Santino, who obviously is already going to be the captain of Team Long. Backstage, even Zack Ryder make plans for later on. How much longer does Ryder have to sell his injuries from this choke slam through the stage? I mean, you don't want to insult the spot by bringing him back too soon like it's often done today in wrestling. But, I mean, seriously, how long does the broski have to get play-skied by the hoski? Laurinaitis makes the match of The Miz versus CM Punk with the stipulation of if Miz wins, he can join Big Johnny's team. The most uninteresting Jinder Mahal against the funkiest of funky, Brodus Clay. He's back. He seemed to have lost a little weight, but he kept his funky dance move and still makes quick work of Jinder Mahal. Good to see him back. Keep on hating. Shawn Michaels comes out and is face-to-face with The Undertaker. I'm going to make this portion of my recap less painful than the segment as a whole was last night. Basically, Taker said he won't let Shawn's ego get in the way. Shawn says it's ironic that he might still be the guy who wins the streak, depending on what he does as the ref. Taker says if you do it, it will be the end of you. Shawn walks out, passing by Triple H, who comes out, and Triple H gives the crotch chop. The main points were good, and in the grand scheme of this entire build, it was a nice week in the progression of the story, but the execution of it was just too long, which to me, the key points got lost in the shuffle. Miz versus CM Punk. CM Punk gets the win. Jericho cuts a promo from the Titantron, talks about Punk's father being a drunk, and that alcohol is in Punk's blood. He says he is going to beat Punk, take the title, and finally prove that he is indeed the undisputed best in the world, and he's going to leave Punk with nothing and drive him to drink. This feud just got a personal tone injected into it, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. On a long build to Mania, and even longer anticipation since Jericho came back on January 2nd to see this match officially made, you need more than just bragging rights for best in the world. You need to add a consequence or a personal tone from the antagonist of Jericho, and I think Punk's straight edge lifestyle provides a great topic and great opening for that. Randy Orton versus Jack Swagger. Other than Khali, has there ever been a world champion who has fallen so far in a 2-year span like Jack Swagger has? Just draws no interest, it seems. The match is there for Orton to win. As he does, Kane's pyro goes off, leaving Orton looking around for him. We end with the much-anticipated Rock concert. Yes, The Rock had his lyrics on the music stand in front of him, and of course he had the lyrics for the sing-along on the Titantron. I don't blame him either. I mean, it's a very long segment. That is putting the musical element into it. I don't blame him. I would have used the same cheat sheets if I was him anyways. And plus, the Titantron, they needed to use the Titantron to cue him because he needed to know on which beat and the to start, so that way he got the words out in time for the We Will Rocky part. So anyway, it's just for the people that are going to hate on The Rock for that part. To the concert itself, I chuckled. I was entertained for the first 5 minutes. But it went on way too long. I mean, way too long. That length that they went, it needed to build to something. If you're going to go that long, it's got to build to some kind of a finish. When The Rock sang about Cena's mom and repeated that chorus a couple times, Cena should have hit the ring running. No music, slide into the ring and just tackle blindside The Rock off the stool. That's it. Just tackled him, because on Cena's heels needs to be every agent, producer, referee, official for WWE and Vince McMahon himself. Cena played it off on Twitter as he's happy to see The Rock back and isn't going to let it get too personal and bother him. But Cena is fighting to protect his legacy. He's fighting for the boys in the back. He's fighting for the company. So all the jabs at Cena and his lady parts should be what he shrugs off, as he has, but when you talk about the family, that's what makes him snap. He hits the ring, only contact, the only contact being the tackle, and that gets people revved up. No punches, no wrestling moves, just a tackle and then the pull off. The tackle looks and feels real, especially had he done it while The Rock is still sitting down and in the process of singing. It makes it look like, with all the locker room official chasing him, it had that real urgent feel, and had some of you tweeting, was that scripted? Was that supposed to happen? You deny it, but it would have. That's what you would have been said if it had happened. I mean, The Rock and Cena shouldn't touch. I'm in favor of holding it off for the big stage, but no time limit promos that end in a sing-along. Bit of a disappointment. We'll take your calls on it next. What you think about it? 412-320-7925. Rock vs. Cena. Who had the better performance in the rap or the Rock concert? And how do you feel about them having any physicality prior to WrestleMania? sportstalk@tribweb.com is the email. You can tweet me at Justin LaBar. We'll be back. It's Trib Live Radio.
Hurry!